Hey guys, my name is RyanCentral and welcome to Hit Scan. We got a bit more information about Agent 15, the new agent that should be coming at the start of Act 2, which is about next week, I think it is. We got some teasers from the Valorant socials, as well as some stuff that was datamined and found out from that part of the community. We'll go over all of that today, as well as some stuff from the recent Ask Valorant. Before we get started, I know you guys like giveaways, so I figured I'd give you a bit of a heads up. One might be starting on Sunday, so be sure to subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all of that kind of stuff. But let's get started with the teaser. It says a lot to think about, and this is the image on screen. A lot to break down. I guess the main thing is going to be this arm. It's metallic, it's holding a pen, and the theory so far to keep you up to speed is that this is a Ghanaian agent. A lot of other stuff that's come out could be that it is a woman of royalty, as well as a theory that's been coming through as well because of the color schemes. A lot of this came from a Reddit report, which I'll talk about in a second because they go over even more information. Whilst I'm rambling, let you sort of soak in the picture and we could break it down sort of top to bottom, I suppose it would be. From the top, you have a picture of Phoenix with the text show off on the side, some paints, the color scheme mostly from this new agent, the purple and gold as we've been seeing, and the arm on the left hand side kind of enforces that as well. We then have Yoru maybe equaling Omen. I like the fact that a lot of this is maybe sort of teasing on the theories that are going around on the game, theory crafting what Valorant is about. So I think the top one is Yoru equals Omen, and that's been crossed out because we know that's not the case. We're looking at Reyna now. Reyna, is she good? Is she bad? Is she both? That's the theory from a lot of different people. We have stuff sort of on the side, just doodles and stuff, the to-do list, getting lunch, research, nail dip. But refining Cosmic Divide, no doubt going to be one of the abilities that this agent has. And it might be the one that we see below. In fact, we might see just a doodle of what this agent looks like overall, considering that this agent is throwing out an ability and it's catching Viper who's trying to run away from it. We'll touch on that in a second, but this picture could be a glimpse of what this agent actually looks like. It's hard to say, it could be somebody else. I don't really recognize it from anybody else. It's not Phoenix or Yoru or anything like that, so it's looking like a new person. Could be somebody else in the future. But we're having a look at this ability, which is something, again, I want to come back to in a real quick second. We'll look over some of the images of Cola and stuff. Nice little drawing of Brimstone being a boomer. You got some more Galaxy Nebula related stuff behind the cup. Ambidextrous, I'm not really sure what that would mean, but we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of other smaller doodles to do with galaxies and stuff, but one of the coolest things about this is the bottom picture, which is a picture of the map Ascent, at least the layout, the plan of it. And what's cool is it says my spots, and then there's little pictures of sort of like atoms and galaxies, you know, the whole core in the middle and then the rings around it. You've got these little icons here. And I do have my theories on what this could be, but before I get started in what I think, I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below about what these abilities are, because I think we're getting a good glimpse at least maybe 2 to 3 different things. Hey guys, Ryan from the future here, as there's some more information I wanted to talk about. You might have seen this video actually went out before I noticed this, hence why the old video got privated, and we now have this to add in. This very much is in line with some of the theories that I'm going to talk about later on in the video, but seeing as we mentioned a little Ascent doodle, I figured it was worth throwing this in now. It's a nice cool 3D image that you could see a lot of the galaxy stuff around, and also yet again, I think we're seeing Ascent, right? Yeah, you've got the sort of main walkway to go through mid, you got the B site, you got everything over on A, and so it sort of looks like you have a bird's eye view of the map and how it could potentially play out, using these little star abilities to maybe go around the map. We'll talk about that in a second, but I did want to show off this image real quick because it's super cool, but it's looking like we have an Omen effect, I guess we'd call it, with the shrouded effect when you're in smokes. Maybe this is the same thing, but more of a Nebula Galaxy vibe with all of this stuff around the map. But yeah, sorry that this video got delayed because of this, but I figured it was worth showing because it's beautiful, and also you get a good look at the abilities and all this kind of stuff. Potentially to do with Agent 15. Well, potentially to do with Agent 15. It's definitely Agent 15, and it looks insane. I can't wait to see more. Back to the old me. Let's go over Cosmic Divide. I don't know if that's any of the abilities mentioned, but that's definitely the name of one of those abilities, it's fair to say, especially with the little stars around it. It's very much a, you know, look at that, right? the cool thing that I guess I want to talk about is what's below, which is this this orb ability. Now, this could just be an ability that you throw out and does damage. It's hard to say. It could also potentially be an ultimate. The image looks like a black hole. So maybe it's something like Zarya's Graviton Surge from Overwatch. A lot of MOBAs have these kind of abilities where you put it down and they start to pull people in. I think that might be a bit too strong for a tactical shooter, to be honest. You know, pull people in, use the showstopper as a combination could certainly be something that you see, but it's very Overwatchy, right? But I would imagine that an ability like that would be an ultimate, and there would be drawbacks in some cases. So my theory is that this ability in the bottom is like a black hole ability that pulls people in. Not sure if that's going to be too strong or not, but that's what I'm guessing. My second theory has to do with this image on Ascent. These will be deployable abilities, whichever ones they may be, especially the fact that he says my spots. So no doubt this ability or utility is going to be set up like a Killjoy sets up her utility, or a Cypher. So there's something that this person can put down and use in more of a Sentinel role. Even though it's a controller, they might have aspects to slow down play, control the map, know what's going on. So what these stars could be is they could be little teleports that allow Agent 15 to hop around the map. If you're playing, say for example on A, the attackers hit the B site, you can use this to teleport through mid to get there a little bit faster. That could be one of the things based on the assets that we've seen, which we'll talk about in a second. Or also, these are kind of like trip smokes, acting a bit like Killjoy's alarm bot, where as you walk over them, they activate, gives Agent 15 and the rest of the defended team information, and then they bloom into smokes that you then kind of have to try and maneuver from. Or they could be flashes. As soon as you trip over them, they flash you, which would be a horrible, horrible ability. One thing we know is one of the abilities that Agent 15 has is a deployable that controls areas of the maps, either smoking it, flashing it, giving information. That's something that could be really smart with how the meta is going at the moment, so having more utility to use there would be good, even with Cypher and Killjoy's play rate going down a little bit recently. But the other thing that I want to talk about here real quick is some of the assets that have been found on the map and all of the stuff that's been data mined. I have to have a huge shout out to Not to Disturb that's been putting together some amazing reports on Reddit, going over all of the information, and shout out to all of the data miners and people from the Valorant lore Discord and stuff that I'm in now that sort of talk about this, find more clues about who Agent 15 is. I'll link all the stuff in the description if you want to sort of be a part of those communities, or just, you know, get ahead of the curve with all of the information going out there. But whilst I've been yabbering on about how great these guys are, I've been showing you a few of these images across the different maps. Ascent, Bind, Icebox, all of them have these little orbs on them, which are no doubt a teaser to Agent 15. Similar to the Yoru steps on Icebox, right? These are just put into game to give you a glimpse, and I think that these little orbs are the icons that we're seeing on the map. Whether these are the ones that as you run over them, they turn into flashes, they turn into smokes. I think these are the deployable utility. No idea what they could do, to be honest. Real quick, as I forgot to add this into the main recording part of the video, I do want to talk about the data mines that were found from the likes of Floxy, Sheik, Valor Leaks, all those guys. They're Not to Disturb highlighted again. The main thing is that there's a new title string for this agent, and it's called Pioneer. Now, this isn't going to be the main name of the agent. This is probably just a code name that they're running with at the moment, the same way that Brimstone was called Sarge, and all that kind of stuff. Not to Disturb goes on to say that the file was found under premium content, more specifically among other sprays and stuff that you probably get through the likes of Twitch Prime, so maybe there's something there that we could get in the future, a little gun buddy for having Twitch Prime to do with this new agent. But the other thing as well that was data mined was the name of these orbs found around the map, called Floating Embers, which again I would assume would be the ability name. Not quite sure what they would do. Maybe they would do damage with where they're placed as well, considering they're embers. There's Molotov abilities for other agents. Maybe we get another one that does something a little bit different. Also, there was the codename with Yoru, remember, that was like Gelat or John's Latte or whatever it was. For this one, it's Pain or Raisins. As Not to Disturb goes on to say, it's French for raisin bread, reinforcing the idea that this agent comes from Ghana, a country where one of the most spoken languages is going to be French. It could also be alliteration like the gelate stuff that I mentioned, but they're the main bits of Datamine stuff that we found. But surprisingly, Not all that much. The devs have been pretty open with how they don't mind data miners in their game, but this very much feels a bit like a treasure hunt right now, and there's not a lot of information about this new agent out there to find through the data mines. But yeah, Pioneer is the codename, and these orbs around the map are called floating embers. But I do think that the general consensus of what this agent is going to be is, from all of the teasers, they're going to be more of an IGL role, which means that you typically would play this agent, you would be calling the shots, telling your team where to go, what information you have, making all of the decisions for all of you smart-ass players that want to be the team captain. Utility like that would make a lot of sense, especially if the ultimate is a black hole. You need to call that. If you use this ultimate and you don't catch anybody, that's on you. You need to put people in there and have your team do the damage and set up the kills, right? So it's all about you just being the voice of the team, setting it up, and considering this could be Ghanaian royalty, what better example of a leader would you need, right? Which is the general consensus of what this agent is. I am really curious on what you guys think. If we find out any more information, I'll be sure to let you know. But most of this will be coming next week with the start of Act 2, which I'm super excited about. I'm also excited that it's not being leaked so far, so touch wood, it stays that way, because I hate it when stuff gets leaked early, right? So that's everything to do with Agent 15. Let's talk about Ask Valorant, as there's only 2 questions in this, so we can get through it very quickly, but also these questions are stuff that I've genuinely been wondering, right? The first one is, why are they having a deduction ranked rating penalty for people that dodge? The question specifically says that, and sometimes I have real good reason to dodge, and I don't think that I should lose rank rating because of it. This answer came from John Walker, who is the competitive designer, Ian Fielding, and Leah Hughes, all of which sort of added in their perspective, I guess. Just to quickly gloss over it, we understand a ranked rating deduction, no matter how small, could feel like a painful penalty, so we want it to be extremely clear with how this system works, and why, first thing first, these changes target players who repeatedly Q dodge, and will have minimal impact on players who want to Q dodge occasionally. Really important to note, so if you do dodge a game because you realise that you don't have time to play, or you've played Split 5 times in a row like I have, I Q dodge if that happens because it gets really annoying, you aren't going to lose much. It's just consistently when you do it a lot, and it's a small -3 point rank rating deduction, right? So I imagine this would get bigger over time. The answer goes on to say that it provides additional deterrence for players who frequently dodge, without being too punishing for the person who rarely dodges. We've also kept it quick to earn back your rank rating, while not impacting your MMR with these penalties. Repeated Q dodges will add up, and repeat Q dodges will feel the intended pain of this. My only issue is that you could have people that would de-rank an account to like Iron by not throwing games but just dodging consistently, and then they use it to climb back up again as part of a YouTube series, you know, Iron to Radiant, and they just smurf their way up. Not a cool look, but we'll crack on. For reference, our data says that more than 50% of dodges are caused by less than 2% of the players, which is insane actually as a stat, and the vast majority of players rarely Q dodge, if at all. Tagged in repeat offenders should have a massive impact. So basically, if you dodge games, it's fine. They're mostly going after these players that do it on such a frequent basis. Also, the final question, the knife detection system is awful. Escalation highlighted this with the new game mode, and the devs say, specifically Nicholas Smith and Kyle Leach, say that the knife is a bit of a meme. It's serving its purpose for either psychological driven kills or unaware opponents, or a last resort when out of ammo, but it's rarely a decent or reliable choice to use in any other situation. Go on to say that the hitbox is static, unintuitive, and really doesn't make much sense, but they say that these are things that we'd like to improve, but other weapon balance issues generally take priority over this, because the knife isn't intended to be a critical part of the combat model. We don't think it should ever be the best choice in a fight, but we would like to make it feel better to use by improving its reliability and satisfaction. For escalation, we're hoping to take a pass on the knife to give the knife an extra oomph, but we ran out of time, and to do so, we've significantly delayed this mode. Interesting stuff, but generally they're saying don't worry about the Q dodging because it's not really meant to be impacting you, and also with this, that the knife is never going to be a high tier weapon, but they want to make it better for escalation. That's everything for this video. A lot of stuff to talk about with Agent 15, a little bit of news, but of course the majority of stuff is going to come next week. A new battle pass to go over, new myth busting of all of the agent stuff, and just generally other bits and pieces that we can talk about and highlight then. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can keep up to date with all of that information, and we'll see you in the future. Keep an eye out for stuff, definitely keep an eye out for stuff, and we'll see you down the line. Take care. We'll see you then.